There are moments in life when you sit alone and ask yourself one simple question: how did I get here? You look at your life and somehow things are not going the way you imagined. Your career is uncertain, your finances are struggling, your relationship may not be where you thought it would be. People you trusted may have disappointed you. And perhaps the hardest part is that you don't even know what the next chapter of your life is supposed to look like. You try to remain strong. You tell yourself that everything will eventually work out. You pray, you have faith, but deep inside, there's still a question that keeps coming back. God, what are you doing with my life? Maybe you have reached that point right now. You feel lost, you feel betrayed, you feel tired, you feel like you have done everything you know how to do, but somehow you are still standing in the same place. And perhaps you never imagined that your life would look like this. You had plans, you had dreams, you had expectations. You thought that by this age you'd have achieved certain things. You thought your career would be farther ahead. You thought your finances would be better. You thought your relationship would be different. You thought some people would always be there for you. But life had a different plan. And now you are standing in the middle of a situation you never expected. You don't necessarily understand why it happened. You don't understand why certain doors closed. You don't understand why certain people walked away. You don't understand why some opportunities disappeared. And you certainly don't understand why God allowed some of these things to happen. But even in the middle of all this confusion, there's something inside you that still says, I have to trust God. And perhaps that's where your journey begins. Not with having all the answers, but with learning to trust God even when you don't have them. Sometimes the greatest pain is not what happened, it is the fact that you never imagined it would happen to you. You watch other people's lives from a distance. You see people getting married. You see people building successful careers. You see people buying homes. You see businesses growing. You see people traveling, succeeding, and moving forward. You start wondering, what about me? You may even congratulate other people genuinely, but somewhere inside, there's a quiet pain. You wonder when your own time will come. You ask God, Lord, did I miss something? Did I make the wrong decisions? Am I on the wrong path? Why does everything seem so difficult for me? These questions can be painful, but they are also human. Having faith does not mean you never become confused. Having faith does not mean you never cry. Having faith does not mean you never ask questions. Sometimes faith simply means saying, God, I don't understand what's happening, but I still believe you are with me. And that's powerful. Because there are seasons in life when you cannot see the destination. All you can see is the next step. And sometimes God gives you only enough light for the next step. One of the hardest experiences in life is betrayal, especially when it comes from someone you trusted. You trusted their words, you trusted their promises, you trusted their presence. You thought they genuinely cared about you, and then something happened. Maybe they lied, maybe they abandoned you when you needed them the most. Maybe they took advantage of your kindness. Maybe they chose someone else. Maybe they betrayed a confidence. Maybe they watched you struggle and did nothing. Whatever happened, betrayal can change the way you see people. Suddenly, you become suspicious. You start questioning everybody. You wonder who's genuine. You wonder who's only around you because of what they can get from you. And sometimes you even begin questioning yourself. You ask, how could I have been so blind? But don't punish yourself for trusting someone. Trusting people is not a weakness. Having a good heart is not stupidity. Being loyal is not something you should be ashamed of. The lesson is not necessarily to stop trusting people. The lesson may be to become more careful about who receives access to you. Not everybody deserves the same level of access to your life. Not everybody deserves to know your plans. Not everybody deserves your energy. Not everybody deserves your vulnerability. And perhaps this is one of the things you need God to help you understand in this season. Who should stay? Who should go? Who should you forgive from a distance? Who should you stop trying to impress? And most importantly, who is helping you become the person you're supposed to become? Perhaps one of the most difficult questions a person can ask is, what is my purpose? You may feel that you're working in your purpose, but sometimes you don't know what that purpose actually looks like. You wake up, you go to work, you handle your responsibilities, you try to survive. But somewhere inside, you feel there must be more. You feel like you are created for something. You just don't know exactly what that is. And that uncertainty can be frustrating. But remember something important. Purpose is not always revealed all at once. Sometimes purpose becomes clearer as you move. You don't always need to know the entire journey before taking the first step. Think about someone driving at night. The headlights don't illuminate the entire road. They only show a certain distance ahead, but that is enough to keep moving. Life can be the same. You may not know what your life will look like 5 years from now. You may not even know what it will look like next year. But perhaps you know what you need to do today. Maybe you need to improve your skills. Maybe you need to leave a toxic environment. Maybe you need to start that business. Maybe you need to apply for that job. Maybe you need to go back to school. Maybe you need to rebuild your finances. Maybe you need to take care of yourself. Maybe you need to forgive. Maybe you need to let go. Or maybe you simply need to rest. Purpose can be discovered one step at a time. There's another area that can make people feel deeply lost: money. Financial problems can affect almost every part of your life. When money is tight, you don't just worry about money. You worry about your future. You worry about your family. You worry about your career. You worry about your relationships. You worry about your ability to achieve your dreams. You begin comparing yourself with people around you. And social media can make it even worse. You open your phone and see someone buying a new car. Someone is traveling. Someone has opened a business. Someone has bought a house. Someone is showing a luxurious lifestyle. And you look at your own situation and wonder, what am I doing wrong? But remember, you're comparing your reality with someone else's highlight reel. You don't know what's happening behind the camera. You don't know their struggles. You don't know their debts. You don't know their family problems. You don't know their fears. You don't know how they got there. So don't allow somebody else's timeline to make you hate your own journey. Your financial situation today is not necessarily your financial situation forever. You can rebuild, you can learn, you can start again. You can make better decisions. You can develop new skills. You can create new opportunities. It may take time, but being financially stuck today does not mean you'll always be stuck. And then there is love. Relationships can be beautiful, but they can also be confusing. You can be with someone and still feel alone. You can love someone and still feel emotionally disconnected. You can give your best and still feel like it isn't enough. Sometimes you start asking, is this the person I'm supposed to be with? Am I wasting my time? Why does love feel so difficult? And sometimes the answer isn't immediately obvious. But one thing is important: don't lose yourself trying to keep someone else. Your relationship should not require you to completely abandon your identity. You should be able to love someone while still becoming yourself. You should be able to support someone while still pursuing your dreams. You should be able to compromise without completely destroying your peace. And if a relationship constantly leaves you feeling worthless, confused, manipulated, or empty, perhaps it's time to honestly examine what's happening. Ask God for wisdom, not simply, God, make this person stay, but God, show me the truth. Because sometimes we pray for God to keep something that He may be trying to remove from our lives. And sometimes we hold on to people because we are afraid of being alone. But being alone for a season can be better than being surrounded by people who are destroying our peace. There is something incredibly powerful about the people you surround yourself with. The people around you can influence your thinking. They can influence your confidence. They can influence your decisions. They can influence your future. That's why this prayer is so important. God, connect me to the right people. Not just rich people, not just famous people, not just powerful people, but the right people. People genuinely want to see you grow. People who tell you the truth. People who encourage you when you are struggling. People who challenge you to become better. People who celebrate your success without secretly competing with you. People who don't disappear when things become difficult. People who respect your boundaries. People who remind you of your worth. And sometimes God may introduce you to these people in unexpected places. A workplace, a classroom, a church, a business, a social gathering, an online community, a simple conversation. You never know who might become an important part of your journey, but you also have to be willing to leave certain circles because you cannot ask God for new relationships while continuing holding on to relationships that are destroying you. Sometimes making room for new people requires releasing old ones. The prayer is not only about people, it's about places. Where you spend your time matters. What environments you repeatedly place yourself in matters. There are environments where you grow, and there are environments where you slowly become smaller. There are places that inspire you. There are places that drain you. There are places where people believe in possibilities. And there are places where everyone tells you why something cannot be done. Maybe you need to change your environment. Maybe you need to attend different events, meet different people, learn new things, travel somewhere new, join a professional community, find mentors, enter rooms where people are doing things you aspire to do. Sometimes your next opportunity is waiting in a room you have never entered. This part of the prayer is deeper than it first appears because we don't only attach ourselves to people, we attach ourselves to habits, we attach ourselves to lifestyles, we attach ourselves to ideas, we attach ourselves to environments, we attach ourselves to distractions, and eventually these things begin shaping us. Ask yourself, what am I consuming every day? What am I watching? Who am I listening to? What am I spending my time doing? What habits am I developing? What kind of conversations am I constantly having? What am I allowing to occupy my mind? Because your future is partly built from the things you repeatedly do today. If you constantly feed your mind negativity, fear, and comparison, it becomes difficult to see possibilities. But if you begin feeding your mind knowledge, faith, discipline, and hope, you gradually change, not overnight, but gradually. Perhaps this is the most powerful part of the entire prayer. You don't necessarily want to prove yourself to everybody. You just want to reach a point where you can look into the mirror and say, I am proud of the person I have become. Not because you're perfect, but because you didn't give up. You made mistakes, but you learned. You fell, but you got back up. You lost people, but you continued living. You experienced betrayal, but you refused to become bitter. You experienced financial difficulties, but you kept trying. You became confused, but you continued searching for direction. You cried, but you kept going. And maybe that's what courage actually looks like. Not having everything figured out, but continuing to walk despite uncertainty. So if you're listening to this and you feel lost, take a moment, breathe. You don't have to solve your entire life tonight. You don't have to know every answer today. You don't have to understand everything that happened. Give yourself permission to be in a season of uncertainty and pray. Say, God, I feel lost. I feel betrayed. I don't understand why my life has taken this direction. I don't understand my career. I don't understand my finances. I don't understand my relationships. Sometimes I don't even understand myself. But despite everything I feel, I still choose to trust you. God, please give me wisdom. Show me what I need to see. Give me the courage to leave what's hurting me. Give me the strength to pursue what's good for me. Help me recognize the right people. Help me recognize the wrong people. Connect me to people who will help me grow. Take me to places that will open my mind and expand my possibilities. Help me release the things that are holding me back. Help me become disciplined. Help me become wiser. Help me become stronger. Help me understand my purpose. And when I don't understand the journey, help me trust you anyway. God, I don't want to live simply to impress other people. I want to become someone and I can genuinely be proud of. I want to look at my life and know that I tried. I want to know that I used the gifts you gave me. And I want to know that I treated people well. I want to know that I didn't give up when things became difficult. And most importantly, I want to know that I didn't lose myself while trying to find my way. So God, please guide me. Order my steps. Give me clarity. Give me patience. Give me strength. Give me peace. And when the time is right, open the doors that are meant for me. And give me the courage not to force open the doors that are not. Amen. If you're currently going through a difficult season, remember this. A difficult chapter is not the entire story. You may feel lost today, but lost does not mean finished. You may feel empty today, but emptiness does not mean your life has no purpose. You may be financially struggling today, but that does not mean you'll always struggle. You may have lost someone you loved, but that does not mean you'll never love again. You may have been betrayed, but that does not mean everyone will betray you. You may have failed, but failure does not mean you are a failure. Sometimes life takes you through a valley before you understand why you needed to walk through it. And maybe one day you look back at this period of your life and realize, I thought God had abandoned me, but He was actually preparing me. The people you lost may have created space for better relationships. The opportunities you lost may have redirected you. The career that didn't work may have pushed you towards something better. The relationship that ended may have taught you what you truly deserve. The financial struggles may have forced you to become more disciplined. The loneliness may have taught you how to stand on your own. And the confusion may have pushed you to discover who you really are. So don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your future. And most importantly, don't give up on God simply because you don't understand what He is doing. You don't have to know the entire plan. You just need enough faith to take the next step. One day at a time, one decision at a time, one prayer at a time, one opportunity at a time, one lesson at a time. And eventually, you may look back and realize that the season you thought was breaking you was actually building you. So keep going, keep praying, keep learning, keep growing. Protect your peace. Choose your friends carefully. Choose your environment carefully. Be intentional about what you allow into your life. And never forget, your current situation is not the final definition of who you are. You are still becoming. Your story is still being written. And perhaps the chapter you're currently living through is not the end. Perhaps it's simply the chapter before everything begins to change. Keep the faith, keep moving, and keep becoming someone you can be proud of.